Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a best of 5 from Dreamhack Winter. It's going to be Stats versus Clem, starting on Oxide, the latter edition. You know these players, you love these players. I'm so excited for this 5-game PvT, or maybe it's going to be 3 games, or 4 games, because it's a best of 5. You know how those work. Top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, Stats, and in the bottom left, it is the blue Terran player, Clem. Clem is the baby in this situation. He's 18 years old. He's excellent. So scary good at this game. He's recently beaten Cyril. He won the European qualifier for Dreamhack Winter. So this is the final doodad, whatever they want to call it, the global finals for Dreamhack Winter. But he beat Clem and Rainer. So his TVZ is nuts. Obviously, his TVP is excellent as well if he made it all the way to win the European qualifier. We'll see how he does here against Stats, who is one of the most accomplished, one of the most dangerous and terrifying Protoss players ever in the history of StarCraft 2, and possibly the best one. I'm trying to think if anybody else has a more impressive resume as Protoss than Stats, and I'm not sure that there actually is. So, very excited to see what we get here today. Interesting positioning on this barracks from Clem. What are you doing, man? Oh, and it's a Marine first as well. Is he just trying to mess with scouting? But guess who's not even scouting? Stats is not scouting. Well, he hasn't scouted yet, but he's scouting now. Okay, I'm curious about this. What is this positioning he's doing? So the probe's going to come in, and he's going to see it. I mean, sure, it keeps the scouting probe out because your Marine's ready to go, but based on the timing here, a Reaper would have done the same thing. I don't even know. What a weird thing to do. Tech Lab coming up. The probe saw the barracks and saw the command center anyway, so he knows it's not a proxy. He knows it's a 1-Rax expand, and there's nothing really else he needed to know with that scout, I don't think. It would have been nice to get more information, but again, a Reaper or a Marine was going to be out at this point anyway, so expecting further information is probably being a little bit too greedy from a probe scout perspective. Adept moving out for a further scout here. Again, you might notice the observer interface is a little bit different. I've been using this one. It is the official professional StarCraft 2 observer interface that they added to the game just fairly recently. And it just has a bigger production tab. You can see the icons are a little bit bigger than they used to be. We have more information down here consistently. The upgrades tab in the bottom is consistently there too, which is nice. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. I've been getting some feedback. It's pretty split as to who likes this one and who wants me to go back to the old one. So the more feedback I get, the more I can make an informed decision. Right now it seems kind of split. So I might even just kind of rotate between the two if it's split. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Feedback is nice. So got some Adept Marauder shenanigans happening here. Concussive Shell is done, which is nice, but Adepts can shade out. If they didn't have that shade ability, this one would be dead, and she knows it. Oracle in production here from Stats. We want to use an Oracle name. Sure, why not? This is the NVIDIA RTX 9000. The ray tracing on this graphic card is so realistic, it burst out into the real world, which, I just... Okay, here's the problem. I've been wanting a new graphics card for a while. I'm running with a GTX 970 right now, which has really served me very well for like most of my StarCraft casting career. And then, unfortunately, the ability to get a new graphics card, whether from AMD or NVIDIA, is apparently impossible. So that's been super annoying. It's not that I really need it, although I do think when Cyberpunk comes out December 10th, I will need it. Because the 970 really shouldn't be awesome with that. Although technically, oh, Widowmine does take down the Oracle. Goodbye. RTX 9000. I don't know. It's annoying to me that the year I'm actually looking to upgrade is the year that getting a new graphics card is virtually impossible. That bugs me, but hey, that's life sometimes, right? Right it is. A good first world problem to have. I can't get the latest and greatest video graphics card instantly like I want to. Got a Robotics Bay coming in from Stats, so maybe Disruptors, maybe some of them Colossus. Any Ravens out? Raven's always good in TVP, but you know what? No. No Ravens at all. Although we do have a Tech Lab and we do have a Starport. We could do some swapperoonies. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ah, not doing swapperoonies. Third base from Stats warping in, and there is a push from Clem coming. Suddenly it's a really big scary push from Clem coming. A lot of the army here is in Phoenix, which is actually not good for Stats. That's a canceled third. You're not saving it, sorry. So guaranteed damage on the pylon, and then going after the Nexus, and it doesn't even cancel it. Oh, Stats, no. Is Stats just dead here in game 1, you guys? I'm trying to see how he wins this thing with no splash damage at all. He's making a Colossus, which is great, but it's not done yet, and it won't be done for another few seconds. He's buying the time, though. The Phoenix are, I don't know, they're trying to lift off Marauders, maybe? Trying to kill Medivacs? What are they interested in doing here, is my question. I don't know. Clem's being very patient. I mean, going up that ramp does totally suck. And now there's a Colossus out. So this is where things get super dicey. Whoa, the observation range on that Observer is far. I can't believe he saw that down there. What, can we see what the range is? No? So I don't know. Clem did get a kill on that third base. That wasn't a cancel. That's really fantastic. He didn't get any really other damage done. He killed a pylon, which is fine. He knows about the Phoenix. Okay, that's nice. He's going to get a free tank. Yeah, all right. Phoenix kind of paying for themselves there a little bit. Third base desperately getting built, knowing there are Phoenix around, and knowing they could absolutely come kill this SCV if they wanted to. All right, so now 2 Colossus are here and a bunch of Phoenix. This is an engagement. Right now at 7 minutes, lifting the tank up, splitting against the Colossus here. Tank does end up going down, and wow, that was pretty good engagement there. That was pretty good engagement for Stats. Clem pulling back, extended thermal lance finishing now, which makes this even better for Stats. And Clem retreating. Clem's third base is coming up, but I mean basically the same time that Stats is. What an interesting game 1 this has been on Oxide. Yeah, hit that like button if you're enjoying this, everybody. This is going to be obviously a Sunday series from Falcon Paladin. Just engagement, comments, and likes. Get me the attention of that algorithm. And I read every comment anyone has ever made on any of my videos to this day. Some people have tested me on it. They've done really sneaky tests. And I see them, and I respond to those ones. Phoenix cruising in. Oh, you thought you'd have turrets. Not yet. Oh, Stats is turning this game around. Holy crap. Clem was up. Clem was undisputably up. And he just lost 11 SCVs for nothing. I don't think he killed any of these Phoenix at all. This is maybe a recall. Oh, the squeeze. The squeeze. Oh, the Immortal. Goodbye, Siege Tank. Maybe goodbye, third base. Dude, these Phoenix were not super great in the early stages of the game, but they're doing some work now. Oh, they're trying to take... Oh, they do get another medevac, and Clem has to lift off his third base the whole time. That's horrendous. Checks the third base. What's the saturation level on that? Stats is up 124 to 149 supply. I guess we'll take our third base over here, says Clem. Fourth base is done for Stats, though. This is nuts. I still feel like Clem could have got up that ramp. There was no splash damage up there at all. There was some Phoenix that could try to do some lifting, but I think he could have at least killed the Cyber Core, which would have been awesome. Maybe even sniped off that robotics bay or the robotics facility that was making the Colossus. That really made it impossible for Clem to get up there. It's Windows, man. StarCraft is Windows sometimes. The opportunities that come, do you see them? Do you take advantage of them when you need to or not? Got ourselves a Ghost Academy on the way from Clem. Dude, the number of tanks that have died to Phoenix today, I think is 3, which is just too many. Yeah, 3 of them to Phoenix, 1 to an Immortal, 1 to something else. Maybe that's to a Phoenix too. I don't remember 5 tanks dying, but sure. Why not? These Phoenix, though. I mean, this is like Phoenix level aggression in a PvZ. Stats know what matchup he's playing? Either way, it's working for him here against Clem, the young upstart. We are 10 minutes into this thing. Both players are looking good. Stats is basically maxed out. Clem is sitting on 148 supply, getting 2 ghosts at a time. Not going for the enhanced shockwave upgrade yet, which I do find a bit curious. All right, Clem's decided it's time to go. We got our Vikings to handle the Colossus. We got our Marines and Marauders to handle everything else. And actually, coming on in, Stats feels great about this engagement. Whoa, he pulled the boys too. SCVs are in the mix. Colossus are actually doing super great here. None of them die, and that's your GG Stats. Takes game number 1 in 11 minutes and 6 seconds. Yeah, there was the window, right? There was the tiny, tiny window that Clem maybe had a victory, but he pulled back. He waited until there were Colossus out, then he couldn't do anything. And then he had lost his third base, and then he just didn't have enough to handle. He was just down in overall army supply pretty substantially. Ends up losing a bunch. 9,000 resources lost for Clem to 5,000 for Stats. That is, that's really problematic. 33 SCVs died, a lot of them in that final push as Clem was going for it there, pulling the boys. Indeed. Look at this. Only 32 Zealots died. 32 Zealots, an Adept, 4 Phoenix, and an Oracle. So no Immortals died, and no Colossus died in this game. Not even one. Holy smokes. That's pretty good. 14-12, that one's new. Anyway, Stats takes a pretty quick 1-0 lead on the young Clem. We'll see if Clem can come back. This seems like it's going to be a pretty good series. Stats might be outmatching the young Terran here, but it's, you know, it's a best of 5. We have a ways to go. Let's come back with game number 2. Game number 2 is here on Deathora. Bottom right, Clem. Top left, Stats. All right, should be some excellent stuff here on Deathora. A good map for good games. Usually tends to go in the macro side, so maybe we're going to see a game over 10 minutes for game number 2 here, but you never know. No proxies. No cannon rushing. Just a good macro game. Was that last game a macro game? I don't know. Stats got up to like 180 supply, so I think that it is. What's a good definition for a macro game? Let me know in the comments what you think a macro game is versus a non-macro game in StarCraft 2. Checking for them proxies. Clem is good at them. Every Terran player is. It's, I mean, it's a tool they have in their back pocket, is having a proxy ready to go. Which is why Stats is looking at all of the places before he scouts. He knows, he's worried, especially when a Terran player is down in a series. That is a major, major threat. Anyway, be sure to check out the Falcon Paladin Hour. It's a podcast with myself and Samacron. We talk about StarCraft 2, we talk about GSL and Dreamhack and all sorts of great stuff. Make bets. Made a bet recently on the GSL Super Tournament number 3 or 2. Whatever it is. If you want to know what the bet is, you have to listen to the most recent episode of the podcast to figure that one out. But just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app. Or you can also, ooh, look at this. Go to Spotify and search Falcon Paladin Hour, or just use a web browser, man. You can listen to podcasts using just the regular old Internet Explorer if you want to. Although, who uses Internet Explorer anymore? You know who does. Like, your parents, probably. Okay, so this Reaper name is unsure if I made it or not. After making so many Reaper names, I mean Reaper program assignments, Captain Atwell was unsure if he made one or not, and is confused if he should accept the reward for drafting a specific person into the program or not. his inability to remember landed him in the Reaper program. So this is Captain Atwell. Joseph Atwell, the one who has made many a Reaper name for the channel over these years. These many years. Always very good. Always very entertaining. I've never been disappointed in a Joseph Reaper name. Okay, so proxy Stargate here, which the Reaper doesn't know. The Reaper's not been able to get in here and scout everything. So there could definitely be a Stargate up there. Which means this Oracle timing is going to be faster than Clem expects it. Which means he might just die to it. This is the difference between, you know, Oracle starts here versus Oracle starts down here is not that long in in-game seconds, but everything's so tight in StarCraft 2. The responses have to be perfect. And here we go. So Oracle's name is Arya Stark. Ever wondered what happened to Arya after Game of Thrones? Turns out she found the Protoss that is now training to be a faceless Oracle. The end. The end of Game of Thrones. Okay, so there's a Widowmine chasing around here. Dude, some friendly fire. If the Oracle could somehow fix it to where the Widowmine fires on it when it's in the middle of these SCVs, that would be pretty good. He's already got 3 kills, though. She's doing all right. Reaper trying to get stuff done here, and almost dead, but also pretty zippy. Zip out of there, friend. Okay, so some mild harassment on either side. The Oracle did not get as much damage as I thought, but that's because there's a Widowmine out. And one Widowmine pretty effectively discourages the ability of this Oracle to get anything done. Now, the trick here is, if you can lift the Widowmine with this Phoenix, then the Oracle can go to town. The trick is finding it. Is it hiding behind the refinery? It is. It's hiding behind this refinery. There you are. We found you. Yeah, sneaky little guy. Reaper healed up thanks to the combat drugs. Checking for the third base timing for stats. It says that's a pretty aggressive third base timing in this matchup. Stats. 2 Oracles, or 2 Phoenix rather, and an Oracle. See, all the running around he's done. He's still not scouted this Stargate. He has to know, right? He has to know there's a Stargate around here somewhere. But the hiding spot is just perfect. Hold up, hold up. Hold up. You see it, Captain Atwell? No? Okay, well, that's a problem then. Actually makes it all the way home. A 5-minute living Reaper here is pretty fantastic. His buddy died. Yeah, that totally sucks. But we're just going all of the Phoenix here today. The Phoenix in Game 1. The Phoenix in the Game 2. This feels like early Legacy of the Void stuff, man. Remember how Adept Phoenix was the strat for early Legacy of the Void StarCraft 2? It was super good. And then they made it so Adepts 3-shot Marines instead of 2-shot Marines, and that was the end of that. Alright, Clem. Third base is up. Got a bunch of Adepts. Got a bunch of Phoenix. Yeah. Again, there's this window where there's not a Colossus yet. Oh my gosh, he finally scouts the Stargate. First time today. What up, Stargate? You've been the source of all of my problems, I see. Oh, free shots, free damage. Oh! Does get the Viking. I didn't think that he'd get the Viking. Stats. So mean sometimes. Alright, Colossus finishing up. Extended Thermal Lance finishing up. Fairly well, Stargate. You've done some good work for the Protoss today. I see you. I see you sharking around here, Stats. Just trying to see where that... There it is. There it is. Ah! Took the hit. Absorbed the hit. Killed the Widowmine. And then got out of there because there's actually ground forces to reinforce. But yeah, the fact that Stats has this third base up and running right now with a 64-44 worker lead is just dead impressive right now. Revelation tossed down. With this many Phoenix, you kind of have to get stuff done. You have to get kills. You can't just fly around and threaten to do things. You actually have to accomplish stuff. So Stats has been doing that. He's been killing Marines, killing Widowmines, killed a couple SCVs. Charges on the way here from Stats. This third base timing is just so good. It is just so good. Phoenix just being a real pain is all they're doing right now. That is a really Marine-heavy comp. So here's the trick. The tanks are a problem for the Colossus, but you've got enough Phoenix to lift and kill those as long as the Marines are worried about other stuff. Yeah, he's trying to position to where the Phoenix cannot easily lift off these tanks. Oh, tanks get no hits off at all there. That's crazy. Another Revelation tossed down. We're tired of having these little shiny triangles on our heads, says Clem. Does he want to go up this ramp? Not really. He's being extremely cautious again. He is expanding behind this. His third base is coming up, but oh, he's going home again. I don't know about this life choice you're making, Clem. You're a great kid. You're really fantastic, but just going home here when you're down 67 to 53 total workers. There's 3 Colossus out. Your Viking count is 4. It's not enough. It's not enough Vikings. Why does this feel like a retread of the last game? Stats is pretty much doing the same thing. Little more SCV harass. He loses a Phoenix for it, which is annoying, but, you know, continuing to keep that SCV count low is pretty good. Stack's actually pulling back to just make sure his 4th base doesn't die. So this has been a pretty passive game. So for the most part, I mean, what's died here today? A Phoenix for stats. It's the only unit that has died for him today. Total resources lost 1,300 to 700. He's just doubling up on Clem. Dark Shrine coming in from stats. He's working on Immortal production and Blink and +2 attack. Ghost Academy's done for Clem now. I don't know if we saw any EMPs in that last game. It's possible the Ghost did not have enough energy for it. Disruptors coming in from stats. So he's adding in here Disruptors, Archons, Immortals, Colossus, some Adepts in there too. And this is a big, big scary Terran army here. I'm liking it. Yeah, Ghosts don't start out with a ton of energy. Enough for an EMP though. Shadow Stride coming in, bit of a Zealot counterattack, just killing a couple SCVs here and there. DT's wandering in to cause problems too. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you have the detection here. Meanwhile, this is a thing that's happening. Tank's on the low ground. Clem pushing him on that 4th base, but he's losing. He's bleeding SCVs back home. He might as well have brought them to meet shield. It is looking, oh man, stats. Stats gets it. Clem GG's out. He can't get up that ramp with a number of Colossus that are up there. His siege tanks, it's not enough, man. Shield battery overcharge problem. Wow, that was a thing. Resources lost end up being 7,000 to 3,000. Again, just doubling up. 47 SCVs die, 1 probe dies. Stats is outclassing the young Clem here today. I did not expect to see this at all. So Terran fans, take heart. It's not over yet. Clem, he can dig himself out of holes. He's done it before. Let's see if he can pull it off here in our next match coming up now. Game numero 3 is on the Romanta side. Top left, stats. Bottom right, Clem. Clem's got to mix this up, man. He cannot do the same thing he's done in Game 1 and Game 2, that's for sure. Stats is getting a 3rd base early, and Clem does not know how to punish that. I just feel like there's a window before the first Colossus comes out. But I don't know. Clem knows more about this game than I do. A whole lot more, so... Ooh. I don't know if there is a way to punish the 3rd base without losing most of your army. Anyway, no cannon rushing here, no proxies. maybe a proxy Stargate, stat says. That did pretty well in game number 2. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the Sunday series. Again, hit that like button. You can also check me out on patreon.com/Falcon Paladin. Support me for as little as $1 a month, which gives you access to an extra bonus StarCraft 2 cast every week that nobody will see on the YouTube channel for another month. I've got amazing Scarlet games out there, innovation stuff. We've got Cyril playing, and stuff that the people on the normal YouTube channel will not see for 4 weeks afterwards. It is pretty good. It's a pretty decent deal for $1 a month. Additionally, you can join the channel. Recently, YouTube did give me the ability to let people join the channel directly. For, again, about $1 a month. You can support it for more per month on a subscription basis, too, if you want. It just gives you access to having a green name when you're commenting on the videos and watching the live streams, which I actually need to do. Have we settled down here enough? The Thanksgiving weekend's been a little bit nuts with things going on, but I think maybe starting this week, maybe I'll make a Saturday StarCraft 2 stream. Cast some of your replays, maybe. Play some custom games with y'all. I think it'd be fun. Let me know if you're interested in that sort of thing. Because if nobody's going to show up, I'm not going to do it, obviously. But I feel like somebody's into it. Probe harass. Delaying the construction on that natural base just a little bit. And yeah, no Reaper. Again, just Marines coming out of here for Clem. Recognizing, again, Reaper, it didn't do anything for him in game 2. It might have done a teeny tiny bit of damage, but that's about it. Twilight opening. Oh, out of stats. Went for a Stargate in game 1 and game 2, but this game it is a Twilight Council, which could be really fast Blinkstalker attack style stuff. Again, he's up 2-0 in a best of 3, so he can afford to kind of try something crazy. Or maybe not crazy, just a little bit out of the ordinary. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. He can drop this, and he still has 2 more chances to beat Clem here today. So Viking in production. Actually getting a Cyclone, which is a direct response to possible Oracle attacks, which are not coming. So a bit of a blind attempt here to do what would be good against what stats said in games 1 and game 2, but that's not going to be good for him today. Unfortunately. More gateways coming in. That is Blink on the research there. So a bunch of Blinkstalkers coming in. Marines pretty good against Blinkstalkers in numbers. Tanks very important as well if you can keep them alive. The problem is Blinkstalkers like to blink on top of the tanks and murder them. So it's something you gotta watch out for if you're a Terran player. 3 Adepts coming in, so that's a lift. And that's probably a cancel. And I don't know. I don't think Stat saw how many Marines are out for Clem. He hid them pretty effectively, and that vision radius on Adepts is not great. Blink takes a while. It's one of the longer researches, even if it's being Chrono Boost. Even if it's being Chrono Boost or Chrono Boosted. Maths. The grammar of the word Chrono Boost is an interesting one. Hey, just a quick plug. I'm not getting paid for this one, but Stormlight Archives, the latest book from Brandon Sanderson in that series came out, Rhythm of War. It might be my favorite of the series so far. There's 4 books in the series thus far. There's going to be 10. But Rhythm of War was amazing. It made me have the feels. It was exciting. It was interesting. It made me think things. It's got good messaging. I just check it out. If you haven't, Rhythm of War, Stormlight Archive series. All right, setting up here, getting a bunker up here too is Clem, crazy person. He's got the Cyclone, he's got the Marines, he's got a siege tank. Stats isn't even trying to go for a 3rd base yet. This is just as natural that Clem is trying to murder. The longer the game goes on, maybe the worse this is for me. Maybe this is I need to win this thing fast. He's trying. That's what I'm talking about with the Blinkstalkers, though. Tank 1 down, Tank 2 does go down, but so many Stalkers lose their lives in that engagement. There's some SCVs up here to buffer too. Do the lock-on, takes down another Stalker. Landed. Vikings doing additional damage versus the Stalkers. They have a bonus versus mechanical. 19 probes die. Oh my gosh. Has he done this? Has he finally won a game against Stats here today? Getting that pylon is really good, depowering the shield battery. No more healing for you, Monsieur StarCraft. Is it? Stats actually held. Kind of, but that siege tank gets a probe kill. No pylons, not allowed. This secondary bunker is coming up. There's a Viking again for landing purposes. Or just in case like a Void Ray or something arrives here to try to cause some problems. Oh, he abandons the tank temporarily, and he does end up losing it. That's huge. Stats is fighting so hard. He's down 41 to 23 workers, unfortunately, and his natural base is a graveyard. That's not happening for him at all. He keeps losing production facilities. He's making an immortal here, which, sure, I mean, it's not a horrible idea. Another siege tank arrives. Oh, shield battery overcharge is up. Tank down. Everybody's immortal for the moment with the shield battery overcharge. Fall back to the secondary bunker. Fall back. Okay, secondary bunker died, and Stats does the thing. Stats has lost 4,800 resources to the 4,100 of Clem. So Clem, happily mining on 2 bases. Clem has killed more stuff than Stats has. I like the position for the young Terran here. I mean, God, that warp gate was depowered forever. The income is slightly favoring Clem right now. Heavily favoring Clem right now. Flavoring Clem. Okay, this isn't a giant army back home for Clem, but he's got tanks in position to help deal with Blink Stalkers coming up into his main. Got a tank doing the same thing. Oh, there's a Warp Prism, though. Man, if anyone could make a comeback from this position, it's Stats. Alright, he's just engaging. Immortal comes down to get the siege tank. Instead of repairing it, he pulls the boys. And you know what? That Immortal's going to go down. Does get focused. The pathing was a little messed up by those SCVs. 8 SCVs go down. And guess what? We're at 35 to 39 workers. Stats has pulled even in worker count and base count here. Just with a little Blink Stalker Immortal Shenanigaroony. Free kill on a supply depot. Sure, why not? Another tank down. Remember what I said about siege tanks? Ooh, I do like the Immortal, or the Marauder play, though, rather. Ah, War Prism sniped. But it is 38 to 39 workers. Stats calls the GG. No! That was premature. Stats, premature GG, bud. I understand you only had 3 Stalkers. I get that. But it's only 14 Marines and a Marauder, or 2, out there for Clem. You hurt his economy. It was an even economy. Ay, caramba. All right, so Clem does get a win here. Stats, I think, just misread the game, which is not something we necessarily see from him a lot. But yeah, look at the situation here. It is 39 to 38 workers. Yes, okay, so a bunch of those units got produced after the game was over. But if we look at it here, I guess it is... tanks are just dead. The Warp Prism dying means there's no further aggression. I get that part. But it's 2 Marauders and 12 Marines. I think you can warp in some Zealots back here. You can maybe make another Immortal. Yeah, the counterattack was not going to be incredible out of Clem. I think Clem was planning on just hanging out. Yeah, look, he's pulling back. He's defending. Stats. Problematic stuff, man. I don't agree with your decision to bail there. But hey, he says, you know what? Not a great position. Let's come back and try to do something better in game number 4, which we do have, which is part of the Sunday series. Some shorter games today. That's fine. PvT can be a little bit less macro-y than the other ones, I think. So we'll be back with that one too. Stick around. I think we're having a pretty good time. Nah? Lightshade, not to be confused with Nightshade. Top left Clem, bottom right Stats. Hope you're enjoying the series. I think Clem has a long way to go before he wins this, but he's very capable of it. So Terran fans, do not lose heart. What else could we talk about here? Talked about the Stormlight Archive. Again, I cannot recommend Queen's Gambit enough to you guys. It is the best thing I've seen on Netflix, maybe, I'm not going to say ever, but especially this year. Netflix's quality is kind of up and down, right? You have stuff that's drivel, you have stuff that is excellent, and that's just because they let filmmakers and creators do basically whatever they want. Just hands them $30 million, and this SCV is up to no good, but he gets scouted by the probe. So that leads to a very wide variation in quality. NG Babe Lock! Yes, Clem. Mixing it up here. 3 probes! 3 probes pulled. Oh, he almost got out as well. That was very, very tight. And the more health on this engineering bay, the more you're going to go ahead and block the Protoss expansion. That is awesome. I mean, it's going to go down here. But it's a delay. It did force the Cyber Core before the Nexus, which Stats did not want. Now he's throwing down the Nexus. The timing works out so well. He's just so stupid good at this game. A lower level Protoss would be like, I don't know when to start making my Nexus, or when to start saving up for the Nexus, so I have enough resources for it exactly when I need to. You know what I mean? It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to pull off at all. And then immediate reactor on that barracks. Is he going to expand here? What are we looking at, Clem? He's got resources. He's working on resources. Pro shows up for the scout. Marine says, no, you're not scouting at all. Did fairly well. You did see the factory. So it's not an expand. Is this a 1-1-1 build? No. It's a 1-1 into command center build. Very weird stuff here out of Clem. But sometimes if you're going to beat somebody as terrifying and good as Stats is, you got to be a little bit weird, yeah? Yeah. Feel like we do. Adept scouting around for proxies because he's like, all right, Clem hasn't expanded yet. Does he have a proxy? The answer is no. He just did it after the factory. He's getting another barracks after the first one. Some Hellion play here without a Reaper, mind you. And then the second level of tech is a Stargate again for Stats. Feeling pretty good, I would say, about the Stargate play here today from Stats. Protoss fans are inspired by this whole Phoenix stuff that's been going on. Alright, so a Marine and 2 Hellions, not as good a pairing as 2 Hellions and a Reaper, because the Marine is so slow. He can't go out. He's not a scouting unit. He's a pretty good defensive unit. He's an attacking unit. He's not a scouting unit like a Reaper is. Ooh, hiding in the grass there. Pretty good. Got a free shot off. And then escaped with, you know, not any worse for the wear. Adept continuing to be built here. Man, more Phoenix stuff. Stats knows what he wants. He understands what he wants, and he knows what he's doing here. There's your starport. Stim coming in from Clem 2. Second gas there. What we really haven't seen attempted today is a Widowmine drop. And you know, I just realized the Phoenix opening really shuts that down. If you're going for a Widowmine drop, the Phoenix will lift the Widowmines. The Phoenix will kill the medevacs when they're coming in. And if you're really struggling against that as Protoss, then yeah, Phoenix is the way to go. Very good stats. Robotics facilities for Stats at about 4 minutes. We'll see if he goes for a fast third again. This is a map that's pretty amenable to it. That third's not too far away if you're worried about attacks coming in. Clem again with the Marines to deal with the Oracle. If at all possible, that's what's happening here. Siege tank in production. He does have a Widowmine. I was going to say, he probably made a Widowmine first. Where is it? Is he hiding it again? Oh no, it's just right here in the mineral line. So it's a little bit hidden. It's a little Where's Waldo-y. Okay, so this is a bit of a, bit of a recap of what we've seen in the first few games. Nothing too crazy so far. Hellion checks to see, is that a depth count higher? And the answer is no. The resources have been going to Phoenix production thus far. Another gateway is on the way, and there's your third base. So Hellion going to try to shut this down and delay it while scouting the timing on it as well. Again, a 5-minute third in a TVP. So the probe dies. Probe knows that it's dead. Doesn't even try to run. The Adepts show up to chase the Hellion off, but that requires another probe to be sent over from the natural base to expand. So the third base is like 10 to 15 seconds later than Stats wanted it to be. So that's a victory. Phoenix just cruising on in. Not a care in the world. They could take a Widowmine hit and not die. So that's why they are not scared to do that like Oracles are. We don't actually have an Oracle. No Oracle and no Reaper in this game. Not a good game for names, it would seem. So once again, Clem just going for about his 5-6 minute style attack here. Did he just kill a... Is that an SCV? What the heck? I guess. No, there's not enough Marines to stop this from happening. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. Another SCV goes down. Clem needs to get something done here. And it really seems like he's probably going to be able to kill this third. Again, another bunker coming up. I don't think he's going to finish because that Immortal is going to focus it down. Actually, maybe not. Phoenix coming in, trying to get that lift. No! Targeting the Phoenix. So the siege tank can kind of live. Another Phoenix dies. Another lift. Just keeping that tank out of it as much as he can. And yes, the bunker does go down before it can complete there. And Clem is forced away. The Phoenix playing such a huge part in that position. Again, Colossus with extended thermal lance. Stats knows what his PvT strategy is for today. At least against Clem. He knows Clem likes to go for a lot of dem Marines. The Colossus are a good answer to those guys. Clem didn't lose his entire army there, and he is continuing to reinforce across the map here, not getting a third base and instead throwing up a couple extra barracks. What are we doing? Just going to keep pushing. Keep pushing. The Phoenix are here to harass a little bit, kill a couple more SCVs. That, again, the Colossus presence just changes the entire equation. Clem doesn't feel comfortable pushing in there when there's a Colossus if he doesn't have any Vikings. I don't know that the Vikings have been doing enough for him anyway. I almost feel like he just needs to go for more Marauders here rather than Siege Tanks. I feel like Marauders would play better against most of this than the tanks. I don't know if the tanks have really paid for themselves today at all. I mean, how many of them have died just being lifted by Phoenix? How many of them have been target fired by Immortals? How many kills have the tanks gotten in total today? I don't know. We're pulling some of the boys now. Clem is not fully committed to this, but it's a pretty big commitment, I would say. Widowmine just makes the Phoenix unlikely to really bunch up and get in there. They don't want to all take damage. They know they're not going to die to it, but if they're already injured, they will, and if they're taking extra damage from Marines at the same time, they will. Good tank positioning here means that Warp Gate's going to die, but Stats can afford to absorb that. He's on 3 bases. He's just so patiently setting up to come around from both sides here. I love that attempt to throw up a missile turret on the high ground. Clem, the audacity of that one. Sheesh. And now the second Colossus has popped. It's time to go. Abject chaos on the field here. Tank continually being lifted up and up and up again here. One on the low ground is still continuing to fire, though. This guy's getting his money's worth, getting some damage done anyway. Only has 1 kill, but that does shove back Stats. A missile turret is up over here for Clem, and he's tossing up a bunker. This is getting dangerous all of a sudden. Stats was feeling pretty confident about being able to hold this, but now another tank gets picked off and killed. Stats awareness of when tanks are popping out here is pretty good, honestly. Ooh, Cybernetics Core taking some hits is nice. Third base might go down. No, the Marines are forced to come back because an attack coming from Stats. Trying to break out of this Terran tank fire. 8 kills on that tank now. Stemming forward, trying to take down the Immortal, or maybe the Colossus, maybe this Colossus too. The Colossus doing some damage. 8 kills, 9 kills, 3 kills on that one. Siege tanks in better position. 3 kills and 11 kills on those guys. There's only 2 here. And maybe trying to take down this third while you're at it, just reducing the income of Stats pretty effectively. And actually, Clem takes the advantage. Overall, it income there just right now. Takes down the Nexus. Clem army supply is 69 to 40. But as always, Colossus, caught out a little bit. Colossus down, another Colossus getting shield battery overcharge. It's not enough. Oh, both go down, and Clem does force a game number 5. Wow. I didn't think that was possible. Marines. This is Marines. This is not Marauders. Okay, it's 5 Marauders. Hang on. Where are said Marauders? One's there. 2, 3 of them are in the group here. It's a lot of Marines, though. I mean, and with the shield battery overcharge, too, like it got kicked on at exactly the right time. But the damage output of Marines, not even with +1 attack, just with stim. Wow. Liberator was a big deal too there, right? Liberator setting up here. Oh, that's such a great position for the Liberator as well. Do not underestimate that. It's getting shots on these Zealots, helping to kill them. Because the Marines are going to struggle at killing those Zealots for sure. Well, that's a weird time to pause. It's like the pre-explosion form of the Colossus. It looks like a ghost or a hallucination right before it goes down. That's amazing. All right. Good stuff, Clem. So we are going to get a game 5 here, and I think he won that one. The previous game, I think stats tapped out too early, but this one was a Clem victory. So he's on the right side of this. His momentum is good. Maybe just not even letting stats get a third base at all is part of the plan here today. All right, good stuff. We are going to be back with game 5 here. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave that seat. It's going to be good. Game 5 in a kind of short best of 5 here, but I kind of feel like game 5s are macro games because people don't like to risk losing on something dumb, right? Like a proxy Rax or a cannon rush or a 2-base all-in. I don't know. We'll see. Top or bottom left here on Pillars of Gold, it is Clem. In the top right, it is stats. Ooh. What are we looking at here today? It's going to be interesting is what it's going to be. Hope you're enjoying the channel, by the way. Subscribe if you haven't. Just trying to get a sub base built up here. What's very interesting to me is that I don't know that I realized how many of my subs on the old channel were Brood War subs and not StarCraft 2 subs. Got 50,000 subscribers over there. But I started casting Brood War like 4 years ago. Not all the time, but just, you know, once a week, twice a week, up to 4 times, 5 times a week. It just kind of grew. And then when I moved over here to do this channel, only like 3,000 people followed me. Maybe 2,500 people followed me. And I was like, oh, the vast majority of the people that subbed to me over on the other channel, it feels like we're Brood War fans or just aren't watching StarCraft at all anymore. I guess that's a part of the equation too. Very strange. Strange how this works out. Anyway, subscribe. I do StarCraft 2 stuff 5 times a week. So the Sunday series are some of my favorite things to do. I do a lobby cast once a week too. If you want to see what's going on in the bronze and the platinum level of StarCraft, which is a lot of fun. And then, yeah, if you have any requests for particular matchups or particular games you want me to cast, then by all means, make the request. I will listen to you more often than not. Okay, so 1 gate expand here from stats. He did block off the Reaper hop-up spot here, but there is no Reaper because, again, it's Marine production here from Clem. He just doesn't feel like Reapers are going to give him what he needs in a TVP, and he's not wrong. I don't think Reapers are really worth their weight. They're good against Zerg. They can get really nice scouts off against Zerg, but against Protoss, it's rough. It is a rough go of it for sure. So at this point, the SCV is going to get a good scout. Is worried about an Adept showing up and killing it, but the Adept is not done yet and being chrono boosted. Chrono boosted feels wrong, but also chrono boost is like the present tense of the verb. So I don't know. English is a difficult, weird language, and chrono boost isn't a word anyway. So I guess boost. Boost is though. Did you boost it or we boosted it? Whatever. Hellions in production. Adept cannot stop the construction on this natural base. Does get chased away. Couple Adepts. Okay. 2 Adepts. It's not really game winny style stuff here. Just probing up back home. Working on the robotics facility. Got this Twilight Council up again. Not doing anything with it currently, though. Holy Dark Shrine. Fast Dark Shrine. Dude. This could be DTs, man. Adepts actually getting some work done before they shade out. Not bad. What are we looking at? 1 kill. That is... Oh, and he scouts the Dark Shrine. The Hellion gets in. It dies, but it scouts the Dark Shrine. His stat's going to keep going with it. I think he kind of has to. I mean, do you want to abort your strategy already? They're just Archons. Could be DTs, though. DTs, oof. Especially in longer PvT matches, DTs with Shadow Stride are amazing. You walk up to a planetary, you snipe it down with your 10 DTs, and you blink out of there. Or you blink in and you snipe it, and you walk out. Take your pick. Both things are very good, and Terran hate them both. So, this is interesting. Warp Prism here, too, so it does feel more like Archon stuff. Although warping in DTs is pretty good. Ooh, okay, maybe don't just lose these Adepts for nothing, though. Alright, that sucks. Never mind, this Adept got back in and is killing fools, man. 3 kills on this Adept. Actually, the SCVs are forced to fight. Oh, they do get her before she gets another kill. That's nice. That is actually pretty good for Clem. Alright, so coming up the ramp, Cyclone did really well for Clem in game 3, I want to say. DT, though. DT Hackett. Probes end. I don't know if he knows about the Dark Templars. I don't know he does now. So that DT dies. This DT dies. Uh-oh. Stats all of a sudden in a bit of trouble. Oh, shield battery down quickly. Shield battery down quickly. Uh-oh. This is not good. Warp Prism needs to stay alive. Immortal doing some work. Are you out of scans? Oh, might be out of scans. This DT doing some work and actually does force Clem out of there. That was really scary for a second there for stats, but he did lose 4 probes, a couple shield batteries, and, what else? DTs. Yes, a couple DTs died there too. Raven immediately being produced. Like, all right, we are committing to DTs here. Let's go ahead and make sure we have detection available for them. Ravens are slow, and they get picked off during retreats, and it really is difficult, but... Robotics Bay in production here, too. Piling up here for scouting purposes, and maybe to help set up a third base. Again, about 5-6 minutes. Seems to be where he wants to be. DT's wandering in, getting a couple SCVs, but there's a turret and a tank here. Turret tank, pretty good combination, as well as this Raven. Can't be Chrono Boost, but it's almost done, and it will be done for any further Dark Templar harassment that might come in its general area. Not enough Marines to really chase down that Warp Prism and kill it, much to Clem's dismay. Yeah, that Robotics Bay coming in, maybe for some Disruptors, maybe going for some of them Colossus that Stats has been favoring in the matchup. And there's your Archon. Okay, so that's the thing. DTs, good as DTs. Also can be made into Archons. Pretty good, actually. Good little multi-purpose unit there. Very gas-heavy. I mean, honestly, most of Protoss stuff is pretty darn gas-heavy. Who's coming in? Really? Okay, this is a thing we're trying. I mean, a couple SCVs go down, but also don't lose a Stalker. Yeah, Stalker definitely down. And the Ravens here, just in case some DTs are in that Warp Prism or they want to warp in. What this has done for Stats, though, is kept Clem on his back foot. Clem has not been able to move out at his traditional timing to try to mess with that third base. I assume he wants to, but he's so stuck at home because of the Warp Prism threat, because of the DT threat, that he can't really go. Colossus are in production right now. Well, Extended Thermal Lance is in production right now. It's just, you know, there's a siege tank here. I guess Archons don't take too much damage from tanks. Yeah, alright. You know, 4 kills on the Archons is pretty good, I guess. Just a Viking would be worth its weight in gold here, but he's making medevacs instead. Which to me says he's not here to defend, he wants to move out. Medevacs are an offensive unit, not a defensive unit. The problem is, God, this third base is just rolling. Look at that income disparity for Stats. 1,000 minerals or resources per minute faster. Bit of a drop back here, getting a few. Nope, pick up and run. Why are we still attacked? Okay. Bit of a sloppy play there from Clem. Unfortunately, he's not been super on point today. I feel like his TVZ is better than his TVP. I don't know what it is. Alright, so tank set up. We're going to pressure this third base. But man, just walking in. Raven trying to stay alive in case there are DTs down here, but there aren't. That's okay, just in case. Warp Prism down. Big deal. Ooh, Interference Matrix on the Colossus, shutting it down temporarily here too. But that does wear off faster than I think Clem wants it to. Bunker trying to come up. Raven wishes it had an observation mode, but it doesn't. Tank firing on that shield battery. Killing that shield battery would be a nice win. I mean, I guess there's 3 over here, though. So maybe not. Army supply, 73 to 66. Clem has an advantage, yeah. He's got 3 tanks as well. He's trying to put the tank in a position where it's not easily sniped. And here comes Stats, breaking it down. The Raven is still alive. Bunched up units, pretty good here for Clem. Yeah, get on out, Zealots. Zealots are retreating from their position, taking all that tank fire. 3 tanks alive. There are no Phoenix here to kill these siege tanks, and they're putting in some serious work here in game number 5. We are in a tight, tough position right now for Stats. That said, if he can just hold the 3rd base, he's going to be fine. Can he do it? The Colossus with their range. Tank down. Other tank getting target fired a little bit here too. 2 SCVs die. They're here on the front lines. Viking trying to get damage done. But no, the tanks are gone. Oh, there's another tank that showed up. Tanks are basically gone. But these 4 Colossus just War of the Worldsing it through here. Blah, blah, blah. And GG Stats is your winner. Wow, so basically 5 games that are about 10 minutes each. That's our best of 5 today. What? All right, again. I don't like GGGs when you just lose an attack. But if we look at this, the income hugely favoring Stats. Clem didn't even go for a 3rd base. That was a 2 base all on Rooney. He brought some SCVs to the front line. He was down 40 to 60 workers. His army supply is basically 6 Marauders and 2 Marines. It's not that Stats had much either. These 3 Colossus doing some seriously good work here today. 12 kills on that one. 5 kills on that one. That Immortal's got 13 kills. And yeah, keeping this base alive. That's all Stats had to do. And he did. And Clem was like, GG. That's it. Gets knocked out of ye old Dreamhack. Rough stuff, man. Rough stuff, Clem. So yeah, surprisingly kind of weirdly short best of 5, maybe the shortest best of 5 I've ever cast. No 20-minute games at all. Not a single one here today. Very, very interesting. But that's kind of the nature of TVP, I think, our timing attacks and, you know, maybe not interested in going into 30 minutes against Stats. As a Terran, I can totally understand that. The longer the games went, it did seem the more they favored Stats today. So Clem didn't want to go into the late game, tried to get some 2-base aggression going, but the Colossus with extended thermal lance, even without any attack upgrades, just fantastically good. Immortal in there, too, to help burn down those tanks and take the tank damage. Fantastic. Well played. Well played by Stats. Comes out on top. We'll move on. And that's going to be it for me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a best of 5 Sunday series. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.